Welcome. In this video, I will show you how to develop a program in Codio, how to deploy the program to the Unix server, and how to submit your work. Now, you can do all of your work through Codio, and you never really have to use the secure shell if you're using Codio. So let's begin. The outline is we're going to use a sample program that's on the course website, and we're going to create a Codio project, and that code will be placed into the project. So let's go to Codio. By now, I expect all of you, each of you, to have a Codio account, and I'm going to this Codio account. What we need to do here is to establish a project. Every assignment that you have, you should create a separate project for that assignment so you keep the files together. So we want to create a project. We want a new project, and when you select a starting point, we've got to determine the environment we're using, and it happens to be C and C++. I'm going to call this project Sample. And the description of it is, this is sample program showing using Codio and CIS server. It's private, we create it. And when we do that, we have a project, it's called sample. And what we want to do is create a source file, so we can open up a file. The new file is going to be called sample.cpp. So it comes up as an empty file. What did we say we wanted to do? We wanted to take a file that is in the course, on the course website. What's the course website? www.cis.famu.edu tilde, and what's the course? COP 3330 Joe. You need to bookmark this. And when we do that, you see the website has a bunch of stuff there. Notice that there's a similar OOP course like the one at FSU. You can look at that and see what they are doing. You may be able to even learn a few things if you go there. But we're looking at assignments. And this is the place where you need to spend some time browsing. Okay? How to install the course software. There's a page that tells you how to do all that stuff. There is a page that talks about useful features of Unix that you need to know. And then there's a very good and excellent resource for helping you remember how to do Unix things. There is a page on helping you to take an online test. And then there's some of the coding or programming environments we have. This is Codio. If you click on it, you should go to Codio. Let me make sure that works. Data. Okay, good. Works. And these are some tutorial sites. This is probably the site I recommend that you go to learn about C++ things. And then we're talking about down here what your programs ought to look like. And here's a sample program. And if you're familiar with C++, you know some things you must have. But for our class, we have a certain standard that says all programs look alike. There's a block comment at the top where you put certain things. There is the main program. Notice that everything inside the body is indented at least 3 spaces, and you need to establish that habit. Notice also that we have a section where we declare our variables. Each variable is declared along with a description. We have a section where we actually do the work of the program. Notice that we use plain comments here. We use comments that look like slash slash dash bar here, and these are really algorithm comments. So for every step in the algorithm, there is code that performs the step. Next step, there's code that performs the step. Notice a couple of things that the comments establish the left margin. So you put the code after the comments using the same margin. That way we're not falling off the edge of the page. All right. So we're going to copy this. If you do Control A, it selects everything. Control C copies everything. And now we can go back into Codio and paste that into our file. All right. Codio automatically saves files for you. Now, where are we next? We have copied and pasted the code. Now we want to compile and run it in Codio. To compile it, you need a tool called a terminal. And some of y'all might say, whoa, this looks like what we saw when we used the secure shell. And in fact, it's the same thing, because to compile, we must type a command. And the program we want to compile is sample.cpp. You may remember that when I compile like this, I produce an executable file a.out. All right? While I'm at it, let me show you another way to do this. Oh, by the way, if you do the up arrow, it will recall commands that you have. So we're going to do the up arrow, and this time we're going to say -O, and we're going to say run. Okay? And what has just happened? Ooh, it looks like we created a file called run. Run and a.out contain the same thing. What's the difference then? That by default, your executable is called a.out, but you have control over that. You can call it anything you want to. All right? So I prefer that you learn how to use this, because there will come a time where you have many executables in your directory and you want to keep them all separate. So let's go ahead and run this. How do we run it? Let me try something. Let me try this. What if I just double click on that? Okay, can't do it. So let's go back to our terminal and run it the way we know we have to. I can say /, what's going on? Have I killed the terminal? Good news, you're seeing that sometimes the Codio can get a little confused. When that happens, just create another terminal. And we can say /a.out. And we see what the program is doing. The item costs $45.33. The tax rate is 7.5. I pay with a $50 bill, and here's the calculations. All right. Notice a couple of things. One is that we always print out a copyright. That says this is my work and nobody else's. This is my work and nobody else's. What's wrong with this copyright? Yeah, the year is wrong. All right. So when you modify this program, you must fix things that need to be fixed to reflect you as the author. All right, what's our thing? Now, what we want to do now, and this is getting a little long, but let's bear with me. We want to set up the CIS server, whose IP address is this, as a deployment site. That is, once we develop something in Codio, we can deliver it to the CIS server. So let's do that. Where do we begin? Well, maybe we want to look at tools. And there's a tool that says deployment manage targets. All right? Oh boy. Okay, slide this over. And we can say create. What's the name of the target? Why don't we call it CIS as the name of the target? Okay? And base path, you don't need to provide anything, but what's the destination? The destination is we want to use secured FTP. All right? And the host name is the IP address 168. Boom. Your username is your CIS login. And your password is, and the destination path, I suggest that you use Codio as your destination path. And that simply means that everything that gets deployed goes into this folder or directory, and you probably should not put other stuff in there. So now we can say create the target tab, create the target, and now it says you have a target CIS created, but you have not deployed to it yet. So we're good here. We can probably close that. And now let's go back to our code, because it looks like we want to take the sample program and we want to deploy it. So let's look at deployment. This time we want to actually deploy, and we're going to deploy it to CIS. And maybe I shouldn't have done that. Oh, my bad. Some things you don't want to do halfway through. So we want to deploy. We're not going to create the target, but we're going to deploy. Here's where we should be. And we're going to say deploy now. It says deployment has been completed, and we can say done. Now, what have we done? We have basically taken the sample.cpp file and moved it to the CIS server. How do we get to it? There are two ways. One way is just take the secure shell window and open one up, okay? But the other is really you can get to it from Codio. So let's see what tool there is for that. The tool that we want is SSH, Secure Login, Secure Shell. So we want to do a connections manager. We want to give it an, oh boy. Okay. Not sure what we got here, but let's not do it this way, because I don't think you have this option. I hate this. This thing kicks me out, doesn't it? Go back in. And let's not use this guy. Instead, let's use the tool that says SSH Quick Connect. All right. What's the friendly name? OOP. What's your? It looks funny. I'm confused. Let's see. Your username is your CIS account. Your host name is 168.223, and the port number you don't have to say. I think this is right. Connect and save. Okay. Notice that it's asking for your password. Here's your username, and it's asking for your password. So we put in. And now if we say ls, what does it tell you? It tells you that you're on the server. You will see files that you are familiar with. All right? So I can say pwd, and it tells me where you are. I'm on the Unix, the CIS server, and here's my login. Now, where did we put the things that we deployed? I think we said we put them in a directory called Codio. This is my account, so there are tons of directories, and one of them says Codio. So let's go into this folder or directory. And how do you do that? Change directory to Codio. And let's see what's in there. ls says list the names of the files, and we have a bunch of stuff. We actually have all the stuff that was in your project. Did you notice that? We have the source file, we have the run file, we have a.out. We have a bunch of stuff. All right. Need to remind you that the binary files a.out and run will not run on this server because they're meant for another server. So what do we have to do? We need to compile here. How do we compile? Sample.cpp. If we want to call it now, let's call it answer. Okay. Then the executable is answer. To execute it, I say /ans. And hopefully you will see the same kind of stuff we saw before. And it looks like this works. So far, so good. I hope you are finding this less intimidating. Now, finally, we have compiled it. We can submit the sample, the source file, as an assignment. The name of the assignment is sample. So how do we submit something? Let's just type in cs submit. See what OS submit. What happens? It tells you how to do it. It says when you say OS submit, you must say two things: what assignment you have and what file you have. What's the name of the assignment? Sample. So we're going to say OS submit sample. And what's the file? Sample. Watch this. Are you paying attention? Watch. I typed SA and I'm going to hit tab. What does it do? It completes it. Doesn't autocomplete. So we're going to submit it. And what happens? It says you're early. Good. It also says that this file is going into your repository. Pretty good, huh? Do you want to check the program? At this point, say no, because I don't have a checker or grader for you. Now, last part, and we're almost done. You can verify that you actually submitted this file by typing in the command. What just happened? Okay. We can type in the command OSstatus sample and see what happens. Well, it shows that you have a file called sample. This is my login. When you do yours, your login will appear there. And so it looks like there's a file there, and finally we need to say what is in that file. You can use the mview command and say show me sample.cpp. When you refer to your own file, you never put this part in it. The system does that automatically for you. So now we can say that, and you might say, yeah, that looks like what I put in. All right? So let's go back and recap. This has been kind of long, but it's also comprehensive, so you might want to take your time and go over this a few more times. So we have shown you that you can do most of your work in Codio. You can connect from Codio to the CIS server. You can basically move files from Codio onto the server. You can log into the server from Codio. So that technically you don't really need to use the secure shell for this activity. Notice also that many of you have those Macs, and I think some of the problems with the Macs will go away if you access the CIS server through Codio. Let's see how that works. All right, with that, we're going to shut this down, and good luck to you.